How does protection turn into mental torture? Your brain has a system for survival, and it's not neutral, it's biased. When you try to suppress the thought, your brain starts scanning. Every negative thought may be pointing to a belief that you're holding that you haven't fully seen yet. Here's the shift that most people miss. The problem isn't you're having negative thoughts. The problem is you can get 10 compliments and one small criticism, and the brain goes, yeah, let's ruin the whole day. And here's the weird part. The more you try to get rid of it, the stronger it gets. This is one of those beautiful contradictions. The harder you try to get rid of a negative thought, the more it sticks. Your brain doesn't care about your happiness, it cares about your survival. You try to ignore it, distract yourself, replace it with something positive, and somehow it keeps coming back louder. You're lying in bed, everything's quiet. Then your brain goes, what if they think you sounded stupid earlier? And just like that, you're back in that conversation. Same sentence, same tone, same moment. Looping, replaying, rewiring. Now it's not even a memory anymore. It's a full-blown investigation, collecting evidence, zooming in on tiny details, pulling up things that no one else noticed. Like your brain is trying to prove something, and you're the one on trial. So naturally the question is, why does this happen? Well, your brain is trying to protect you. But maybe the better question is, how does protection turn into mental torture? Your brain has a system for survival, and it's not neutral, it's biased. This is what we call negativity bias. Your amygdala, the threat detector, reacts faster and more intensely to negative information than it does to a positive one. Why? Because a missing threat could be deadly. Missing a compliment? Not so much. But here's where it gets interesting. When a negative thought shows up, your brain does two things. Tags it as important, pay attention to this, or replace it. Let's make sure we learn from this. Now add one more layer. When you try to suppress the thought, your brain starts scanning. Is the thought gone yet? Is it gone? Is it gone? And ironically, to check if it's gone, you have to keep thinking about it. So now you have a loop. Thought appears. Your brain flags it as important. You try to suppress it. The brain monitors for it. The thought becomes more active. You're not feeding the thought directly. You're feeding it with attention. So the harder you try not to think about it, the brain goes, oh, this must be important. Here's the shift that most people miss. The problem isn't you're having negative thoughts. The problem is believing you're supposed to control them. Because the moment you believe, I shouldn't be thinking about this, you've turned it into a threat. And the brain treats threats seriously. So instead of, I need to try to get rid of this thought, try, oh, my brain is doing that thing again. Not fighting, not fixing, just noticing. Because you are not your thought. You are the one noticing the thought. But even that isn't the full story, because the thought isn't actually the problem. Now, let's go one level deeper. There's a perspective that flips this entirely. What if the thought isn't the problem, but a signal? Not an enemy, not a mistake, but a signal. Every negative thought may be pointing to a belief that you're holding that you haven't fully seen yet. Thoughts feel random, but they're actually pretty logical once you see the belief underneath them. And the discomfort, that's not a punishment, it's feedback. So instead of asking, how do I stop this thought? Try asking, what would I have to believe for this thought to feel true? Let's go back to that lying in bed moment for a second. You're replaying the conversation. Instead of fighting, you ask, what would I have to believe in order for this to make sense? If I sound stupid, people may reject me. If people reject me, I'm not safe. Now you're not dealing with the surface thoughts anymore. You're dealing with the belief underneath it. So now we have two layers. The brain amplifies the thought because it's wired for survival. The belief underneath it gives the thought meaning. Like, I'm judged, so I'm not safe. And here's the twist. The thought isn't the problem. It's the symptom. Instead of, I need to get rid of this thought, try, The thought is showing me something I believe, but do I actually agree with it? Try this for one day. When a negative thought shows up, don't argue with it. Just label it. Like, I'm having the thought that I embarrass myself. Then do something slightly playful. Ah, yes, my brain's favorite episode. What this does neurologically reduces amygdala reactivity, activates the prefrontal cortex in a calmer way, and breaks through automatic identification with the thought. You're not suppressing it. You're changing your relationship to it. You're not fixing your mind. You're studying it. Here's the strange part. The thoughts don't disappear because you control them. They fade because you stop treating them like a problem. Try it. Don't believe me. Test it. And just notice what your mind does next. Because once you see it, you don't see your thoughts the same way again.